Hello guys, I'm sorry it took so long to upload. I have been getting every single winter unit in Ultimate Tower Defense. So as you can see, you can use this to winter mode, get Nightmare, and you get presents, around 10k presents per game in Nightmare. And you go to Winter Shop and you buy capsules. With winter capsules, you can get Jangaloo and Ice Empress. With New Year's, you can get Megumin and Bambi. We're going to be showcasing every single one. So let's just start with the first card. So first, we have Bambi. I have her ruler just to, make it cooler. Then we go to Ice Empress, which I have Duelist and Lethal. It's not the best, but I have to try. Then we have Jangaloo. I have her E6 and I have her ruler. Then we have Megumin. She is insane, to be fair. And then who else should we add? We can add a Virtual Idol. I did get shiny Virtual Idol, guys, so that's good. We're gonna play and let's go infinite. Let's go. So I think I might have to skip a bit. Okay, so always place your fast card down first. I'm trying to get an E6 Ice Empress or E6 Bambi, but those are the two units you don't want. So you're trying to go for Jangaloo or Megumin. Please Jangaloo down since she is the cheapest. So I will tell you when she is max. I'm going to try to get everyone max evolved. Well, max upgraded. And I will tell you when. So guys, we are back after a bit, like 10 minutes of trying to get these units maxed out. So I will show you what each and every one. I'm sorry about the Ice Empress. She doesn't have Evo. Sorry about that. Have Duelist. So let's just start with the two units that are very controversial. Let's go with Bambi first, okay? I have an E1, but as with Ruler, she's a 3 placement. She's 5.2k damage. There's no relics, by the way. Nothing. 5.2k damage on 4.6. Pretty good DPS, for no relics, that's all. And only E1. But she has an ability, so as you can see, the Kakiaturasen. Please, but don't butcher that. But it does dealing 200% of Bambi's damage, so it will do around 15k damage, with relics around 40, 30, something around that. But if it has an affliction, like burn or something like that, the affliction will have that's 2x longer, that's done. Good. Aside from Bambi, have a 50% chance to proc a random status based on your team most used element. Statuses deal 40%, 30% on E2 of Bambi's damage. So let's go see. You can see Rose, you could bleed it and it will do 40% of it. So it's actually pretty good. Eyes, you can freeze it and it will do damage. Light, radiation, fire, burn. It's actually very smart what they did there. So Bambi is a solid unit, but it's probably the worst unit in it. But it's still worth it to evolve her. As you can see, I did evolve every single unit, because I do have the Ice Bear. So did my friend, because we are trying to do this for you guys. Now let's move on to Ice Empress. So she needs Ice Cavalry. So she's 2.7k with a 7 cooldown. No relics, I think. I'm pretty sure. No relics. I think. I'm not actually sure about that. But no relics on damage, I'm pretty sure. But her damage, not so good, but still no relics. You gotta keep that in mind. It could do around 7k and E6, so we'll do a bit more. But let's focus on our passives right here. So, after release a full AoE damage, so all of her range, dealing 100% of her damage, freezing all enemies in her range for 3, 5 on Etherealized 6. Cooldown 60 seconds. That's a pretty large cooldown, I say. But it is still like a decent one. Doing 100% of damage. I'll do around 6 to 7k. No pun intended. Damage. Once an enemy enters Ice Emperor's range, they get frozen. That helps a lot for multiple paths. Since every single unit in a range, maybe you can get a virtual idol with that, buff her range. Insane, maybe. Frostbite. Ice Empress freezes any enemy she attacks for 1 second. So literally any enemy. Every time she enemy is frozen, Aftermath gains 2.5% damage. 5% only, up to 75, up to 50%. She can get like 50+% damage just from like just attacking, not even killing. But 75% on E4. Once 5% reaches the buff cap, her next attack will reset. That is the thing. It will go back to reset. It's just not gonna stack up. All allied range within answering receives plus 20% damage. That's nice. Just that plus 20% damage can really help. Sometimes if like you got a high damage unit, plus 20% will increase that by a lot. After reaching 50 kills on her meter, Ice Empress can summon Ice Cavalry for the next 5 waves. Yes, it's Ice Cavalry, and that's just the like damage and stuff. So if you want to read that, you can pause the video. If Ice Empress attacks a non-boss enemy under 20% health, it has a 30% chance to be killed instantly. Personally, I think those are pretty useless because 20% is just gonna die of just pure damage. But I'm gonna show you this woman's ability. But let's show you Frost Domain. Frost Domain doing like freezing. See, has frozen. And Ice Cavalry will, I think it's at the back. I am lagging so hard. It is here. With a lot actually, like loads of units doing 415. So around about, let's like count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's around 10, so 4k damage each, and they will spawn every single wave. Look at them, and they do increase every wave. So if you guys want to see that, so she is pretty good. I think it is worth it to evo her. Maybe go for a capsule. Getting ruler on her would be the best since she's only a 2 placement, but I don't have that right now. I'm kind of broke on stats. Not stat trade heroes. I'm saving for the next update. Can't wait for the next update, by the way. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. But now let's move on to the big boys, right? Let's move on to the things that, like the 2 units that clears everyone. By the way, these do have relics, so please don't. Jungler. She'll do around 11k damage. She has 2, she has 2 forms. Every crit she does, she earns 20% of a Saigaji stack. And she goes into Janglu Evolve, which gives her extra damage. But most of all, it gives extra crit rate. I've got a perfect combo with relics for Janglu. If you guys want to stay tuned for that. If you guys want to know. But I put 1 crit rate and 1 crit damage. See, when it's in evolved, it has a 93% chance. Most of the time, it has a 93% chance to hit that crit rate. Well, most of the time she actually does hit crit. And doing 300% damage, that's like around 45k. Doing 45k damage every 3 seconds is pretty good. So it just ranges. Her DPS is not like good now, but it's a crit rate and crit damage. And also Icy Flux is insane. So Rene is a powerful slash that does 200% damage. That's what you use against boss. Further enemies take 300%. So you can play around. You can get like maybe Ragnar to freeze him. Get Ragnar to freeze him. So 300% or 500%. The more etherealizations you have. So, but this powerful slash doing 200% more damage will do around 30k damage. But let's not forget the crit rate here. So let's times that by 3. So around 90k. Let's add that on. It will do around 120,000 damage. Also, she has that, the lunar eclipse, you get stacks, crit rate. That's why you need to focus on like crit rate and stuff, so you can get this like stuff around, yeah. But one of the best units in this update, definitely meta, no doubt about it, is Megumin. It's very expensive, by the way, so it's not like very cheap, so she is very expensive. But I went with crit rate and damage, so she would do around 40k damage, maybe a bit less, 40k, 35k, every 7 seconds. See, even though that's a lot, its cooldown is a lot, right? But there is one way to lessen it, is look at this passive. Okay, let's first look at like pure destruction. So it does 500% of the damage. That's like 400,000 damage. Just right there, just off the bat. It's such a boss killer. Just easy. It's gone. The boss is gone. But 1,000% on Ethereal 6. You know that's like, let's think about it, 50... So 50 times by like 10, 5, that's around like 600k damage. It's gonna be wiped. But pure destruction Megumin becomes unsellable. It doesn't matter about unsellable, but stunned for 60 seconds, that's pretty useless. But you will always have a unit behind it, so that's good. Megumin attack supplies burn. Burn will be super useful. 25% of the damage over 10 ticks. So basically, that's like 10k damage or 15k damage every single tick. So not only does she have some OP damage, she also has that burn. But if they will move 10% faster, but 10% faster isn't really much of a difference, is it? But her true arcane and her passive deals all her damage as true damage. That is so like good, because let's say you have hyper armor. Megumin blast through the hyper armor. She is so good, but this is what I want to tell you. One Trick Pony, you need to get her to Etherealize 4, so she's so OP. Every time Megumin attacks, she gains 1% SPA. And damage with a cap of at 50%. So every time she does an attack for 10 seconds. 1 second usually, but let's get her on Etherealize 4, please. Before you do anything, Etherealize 4 is the way to go. But 10 seconds. So basically, usually, most of the time, just because we're on Infinite and this is the map, try put her more in front, so she always has that. So she can lessen her SPA so much. Like, it's an incredible amount she can lessen it. So putting her on her own isn't really a bad thing. But she doesn't have fully wee. But so she can usually do it in 4 seconds. And way more damage. But also, she is a hybrid on placement. So that is very helpful, to be fair. But she is such a high damage unit. But yeah, that's like all the units. I'm still trying to get that secret, guys. It is extremely difficult to get that. I'm still trying to get Sunjin as well. We might get Ichigo, but I don't know about that. But I say that stay tuned for the next video. It'll probably be next update or me getting getting the secret or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna try to stream more, so keep in mind for that, and see you guys.